You are listening to the Zenith transmissions, channeled dialogues exploring consciousness, mutation, and the unfolding human story. Transmission 1 begins.
Transmission 5, February 8th, 2024. Settling in now into your chair, letting the body begin to relax, letting go of any thoughts of the day. Feel your body begin to soften and become heavy and warm. With each breath, allow your body to relax even deeper. Breathing in and out the nose, observing the breath as it flows deep into the belly, relaxing and releasing any tension in the body, and drawing the awareness to the point between the eyebrows, focusing on that channel of highest wisdom and information, connecting to that source of infinite wisdom, the highest source you can access. Body asleep, mind awake. Whenever you're ready, I'll start with my first question. Is the name Zenith in reference to the television manufacturer?
I call myself Zenith because this is the form that I can come to you in, where you will understand that I can switch channels to show you the information you are asking about. It was not originally the thought to represent the old television manufacturer, but the channel saw this in her mind, and I understood the reference point as to how to change my appearance.
What would you like us to understand?
I am not here for my understanding. You have come to me, so I am streaming the information which you are moving towards.
Are we moving towards self-realization?
What do you mean by the terms self-realization?
Mastery or joining ultimate oneness?
This is not something that one must try to join. This is what you refer to, I believe, as slow realization or sudden realization, that there is more to know than one currently understands, which we all experience in varying degrees over one's lifetime. If you mean, for example, a fish swimming in a school of fish, and it has always been the reality, and as far as they can see, they move inside of this school of fish. But one day a current pulls them from this school of identity, and they are swept into the greater realization of the ocean around them and other systems and schools and even species. They begin to perceive for the first time that they are separate from their school, and yet in the same moment one with the ocean. We are always in various states of awareness to the minutest version of ourselves, and also the giant web we are always connected to and completely entwined with. Some may call this awakening or joining, but the fish never joined the ocean in this example. They simply became aware they were in it all along. Is this sort of what you mean?
I'm wanting to know about enlightenment or samadhi. How is this achieved, or what path would lead to these experiences?
You are using terms that are specific to one system of belief and path in a network of paths and universes. I am aware of its existence, but also aware of many schools of thought that would call what you seek something very different, and it's like one wormhole in a sea of thought schools. I am not an expert at any one. If you can ask the question, however, in a broader sense, then I may be able to answer. If you can live inside of the paradox, that to be the penultimate version of oneself, and by this I mean the most distinct and different, authentic, pure expression of energy that your soul speaks, then once you hit this place of pure essence and individual expression, the entire whole shows its facets of oneness by complete representation of the multi-dimensional form. It is oneness that is made of the most diversity you can imagine. And until that diversity becomes full in all beings, the oneness that you hope to experience won't merge in the way that you would expect to experience merge. To merge without this into oneness would be not the face of God. To know oneself and in the same breath forget oneself.
Is it possible to accelerate evolution by a certain path or spiritual teaching?
The practice of Zen, represented in my namesake, and many other practices that hold that tightrope of balance, will help develop the practice in which we learn to hold two opposites in the same hands. When we can hold paradoxical concepts and really embody the contrast in a merged state, this is the end of dualism, or what you might call separateness, but it is the opposite route than most think to get there. You must know the self to forget the self. You must know the dark to release the dark. You must understand all expressions to hold the scale center and both be and being, to allow the full expression of God to be seen in every form and tongue and presentation. Once we understand the path that feels like the visible, we dissolve.
Can you tell us about the gene keys?
Please ask this in a broader sense so I can understand what you are wanting to know about.
Can you tell us how the timing of our birth might affect our life's purpose?
In the same way that a beam of light must hit a medium at just the right angle to have one expression of color, or tone, or density, or diffuseness, when a soul comes into form, all the elements that reflect into that being at the point of conception change its form and function.
Most astrology uses birth time, but would it be better to base these teachings around the time of conception?
The best tool for understanding this would be conception time, and you will be able to pinpoint this in the not-so-distant future. But for now, it is the closest system that humans have to understanding this. When the tools have been developed to be able to date the bone growth curve and combine this with what is understood about development that precedes it, this could give us an idea of conception point. But in the more distant future, other samples will be used.
Can you tell us when we will be able to determine conception time?
There is no static point for this. It has already changed many times because of advancements or declines in theories. It depends heavily on the reason for needing such information and becoming important to those who have power and funding.
Would our understanding of astrology need to change due to the difference between our birth time and conception time?
Some systems already attempt to guess conception time, but the current systems would change slightly and need to be rewritten to cross-reference gestation.
Can you tell us the conception time of the channel?
Her given time in HD of 555 is actually current because of hitting her exact due date at the day which she needed to be born for her own personal predictions that were told to her about the last day of the first month.
What is the significance of the number 5?
The Great Change. This is sometimes called the Great Change, sometimes the New Paradigm. Others it's called the Pull Switch or the Future Human, as in HD. The number represented cultural and universal change is the 5.
What will this new change bring?
It is bringing this wave of new humans for the purpose described above. And to answer your question about ways to move evolution along more quickly, to see in a being that you care for and bring up The paradox of the greatest asset of humanity being hidden inside a shell that is easily discarded as the least valuable player will put into perspective for our entire planet how to embody the now and not yet, and the celestial inside of the material. They will not come to all, as some prophecies may seem to indicate. It will not be widespread for some time, and by then it will not feel like it is anything out of what has become ordinary. In fact, this could greatly be delayed if the gene is sought out and isolated for the purpose of destroying the mutation to begin with. This is a gift that the world will not receive as a gift, but that is the tale as old as time.
When will these new humans be coming?
Very soon. In fact, some are here.
These transmissions are for the future human, for the ones who feel the shift, who sense the children are different, who know the old paradigms can't hold what's coming.
This concludes today's transmission. Let what you've heard settle softly. The next begins when you are ready.